All right, as a wrestling fan this week, I saw something on Instagram, totally jogged my memory, but in 1994 was the 30th anniversary of Halloween Havoc 1994. And that promo was getting shared around of Ric Flair and Sensuous Sherry leading up to that match. It's a great promo, and man, I was a 12-year-old wrestling fan at that time, and I didn't have a way to order pay-per-view. I don't think we had the capabilities. Like maybe we would have had to go rent that box to bring it home. It was just never even a thought of a possibility for us to order pay-per-view in my mind. I was not to call the 900 number, the WCW hotline, by any means. But this was a legendary retirement match. Both Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, one of these guys was going to hang it up. That's how much these two hated each other. Two legends of pro wrestling in 1994 were going to, one of them was going to retire after that cage match. And I just, as a fan, as a kid, I just had to know who won. And it was going to be in the wrestling magazines, but that was going to be months ahead, and I wouldn't be able to see that. And this is not when you could just go online or hop into a chat room to hear the results. There was no way to find out except 1-900-909-9900, the WCW hotline. And I called, and I remember I snuck into the bathroom, locked the door, and I dialed the number. And I was so nervous that my parents would catch me, but I had to know who won the cage match. And I remember, like, I think it was Mean Gene who picks up on the other end, and I knew the first minute was like so much, and it was going to be $1 for every minute after that. And I thought, oh, I gotta make sure I get off here as quickly as possible. And Mean Gene Oberlin is like, it was a match for the ages. Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair in a loser must retire match. It was an epic match with a shocking ending. But first, we're going to tell you about the rest of the card. And they start reeling all the results off for Halloween Havoc 94. And I'm going, oh. And I remember he eventually said, that Hulk Hogan had won the match, defeated Ric Flair. And I just immediately, I hung up the phone. I had the cordless phone, in the bathroom. I immediately hung up. And I think Brutus Beefcake was involved in that finish. I'm watching it back right now, but I wanted to watch the whole pay-per-view. But I think Brutus Beefcake is involved in that finish. I had no idea what the finish was, what went down, what was said, what was done after the match. All I knew is that Hulk Hogan had won, and I had to know. And of course, a few weeks later, man, when Mom saw that phone bill, she said, I told you not to call that phone number, and you will never do it again, whatever. I won't do it again. I won't do it again. I don't know if I tried to explain to her, like, this was Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. But I definitely never called the WCW hotline again. No angle got me so interested that I had to risk being banished from my home for calling the 900 number. No other angle captured my attention like that one. And I had to know. Wouldn't it be cool to have that phone bill, though, with like a charge to the WCW hotline on there? That would be the coolest thing in the world to have in your collection. Wish I had that. Wish I had hung on to that. Would be a cool thing to have in the collection. So that's my story about the time I called the 1-900 WCW line.